The functional heroin addict. This is crazy. How the fuck does this work? Okay, I kind of want to watch this.
All right, Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Hayward, California, is where I grew up for the first 12 years of my life. And then my parents moved us to Castro Valley, California, because we were in somewhat of the ghetto and wanted to go to a better neighborhood. And so,
I recently had
yeah, I mean, growing up in the ghetto, I guess as the white boy.
You're getting pissed, dude. Literally, this is just Logan Paul.
The virus would target those hogs harshly.
That's just Logan Paul, dude. What the fuck? How the fuck does this dude function on heroin? I guess we're about to find out, boys. Before we get started, I just need to say, like, don't do heroin. It's not good. Okay, it'll fuck your life up. Okay, not good at all. Not even once. Don't fucking try it. Don't do it. Insane. That this guy is doing it.
There were, it wasn't anything too bad. I mean, I guess like once I got a knife pulled on me on a corner when I was like 9 years old. I think I saw I know I did, I don't think. I saw a condom full of jizz hanging from a tree when I was like 10, and that was like probably the first time I saw anything like that. But, it was just like there was gangs and stuff. Like a friend of my cousin got shot like a couple blocks down. And so around that time, a couple years later is when we moved to Castro Valley. And that was somewhat better, but when I got there, it was more like I came from where I came from, and then I entered a more whitewashed area, and then it was like instead of being the white boy, I was the white boy that didn't fit in because I didn't have the money, like, or the new items like everybody had, or clothes, or electronics or whatever. And so I remember just being a teenager and getting older. I liked playing basketball, but I was never good enough to be on the team. And it's just kind of an outcast trying to find myself. And in high school, as a teenager, I got more into music and stuff, and I got into metal and punk and everything. And I guess one year I remember it was summer school. I remember there was a kid named Ben that he wore like Converse high top Chuck Taylors, and he listened to Blink-182, and I like Blink-182, which I'm not by any means saying that they're punk, but when you're 15 years old, that's so yeah, I was listening to stuff like that, and I started getting more into that, and I started wearing Chuck Taylors and stuff. And I remember the next year Ben's like, "Oh, you're a poser," and all of a sudden it's like you're finding yourself and trying to be an individual, and you're a poser. So yeah, so high school was cool, and I mean there were some fights with kids that wanted to pick fights and stuff.
It sounds like a pretty normal childhood.
Well, I mean, I have some stories
except for the being an outcast everywhere you went.
Yeah, right. No, but I definitely have some stories. When I was about 11 years old, there was a fall festival in Castro Valley. This is when we still lived in Hayward, but my parents wanted to go. And it's kind of like your wine and arts and crafts festival. So we go there, and I'm being, I want to go home. I'm bored. And my parents are having a good time. They're drinking wine. They're having a good time. And we're watching, some cover bands, some dad cover band, and they are getting progressively drunker, and not to the point where they're sloppy or crazy, but they're just having a good time. And as almost a teenager, I'm getting embarrassed, which who gives a shit, like who cares what they're doing and what I'm doing, like. But as an 11-year-old, being in that, I have the sense that everybody's watching us, and that all these people, like, I'm going to see any of them for the rest of my life. At this age, I wouldn't give a shit. Like, I've gone to shows and danced my ass off. I've been on acid. I've been on mushrooms, like, at shows. Like, I don't care. But anyway, so I knock the wine glass out of my dad's hand. I slap it. This little brat, this stupid little jerk. And that was it. my dad instantly went from partying happy, which they didn't drink a lot. They, didn't have any problems like that. My dad does have anger issues. Never beat me or anything. I got spanked as a kid, and he definitely did a lot of yelling. But, we can go more into that later. But in this situation, it was instant change. The look on his face, I knew I fucked up big time. And my mom, it was like a scared look on her face. He said, get in the car, let's go. And we got in the car, and he drove home probably, and I'm talking down residential streets. This dude was, I have a very vivid memory, and to have this memory as an 11-year-old and remember looking at the, miles per hour, it was 50 or 60 miles per hour down residentials the whole way. And I was scared out of my, whatever. I was scared. And so we got home. He's just screaming at me, like I fucked up. And I did. I totally understand. I don't know if I would hope that if I had a child and I was drinking, I would have the capacity not to, do something like that. But who knows? So he's yelling and screaming. At that point, my mom, they're drunk, and so she passes out on the bed. Well, then my dad starts yelling at her because she's passed out drunk in front of her son, and that's not what you're supposed to do, and all this stuff. And I'm freaking out. Like, I'm scared. And so I run in the bathroom. I remember he slammed the door open and put a hole in the wall. And at that point, I was so scared that I ran out of the house. I ran to the neighbors and I said, call the cops. My dad's drunk. He's freaking out. They called the cops, and my parents had to go to Santa Rita jail for the weekend. Both of them, because you know how cops are sometimes. It's not very rational. And plus when you have two really drunk people, they don't really trust them or believe them. And so, yeah, and I felt really bad. And so
a little drama in your childhood.
A little bit. And I've never been good enough for my dad. It's always, I can't do it. There's things in life that I worked at a print shop, and there was he wanted me to install lighting and all these things. And I'm like, well, I've never used electric drill or whatever the hell it's called. I've never used one of these before. And he's like, mind's blown. Then I'm like, I'm 35 now, that I was this 33-year-old man that didn't have these skills, which, whatever. People learn their own skills, but, the stereotype. And he was Mr. Manly Man. He was a stripper in his 20s, big buff dude. And that's a whole other thing. But, so yeah, I didn't learn certain things, and because my dad would always say, I'll do it. I don't want you to screw it up, basically. He wouldn't say that, to my face, but yeah. So there were different things like that. I would get in trouble at school, but nothing, it was stupid shit. One time, I pretended to stab a kid with a pencil, and that, I went like that, and that turned into, oh, he was gonna stab me, and I got suspended. Or told the teacher one time, you're not my mom, I don't have to listen to you, shit like that. I wasn't, going and bringing a gun to school or graffitiing all over the walls or smoking pot in the bathroom,
So how far did you go to school?
I did a little bit of college. I only did one semester of college.
Mm-hmm. And you've had jobs. You have a job now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I've done a lot. I was okay in high school, 3.0 or whatever grade point average. In college, I was trying to major in mass communications because I knew people at a local radio station that had referred me to this school and to this teacher. I guess I'm kind of one of those people that I have underperformed or had ruined my potential.
So you're working currently. You have a straight job.
I do a gig through an app right now. I was working at a restaurant in December, and then they closed down indoor dining, which was fine because we had outdoor dining. Yeah. But then they closed that down, and then it was I was doing double the work because of delivery, packing bags and all that shit, and then getting paid not half, but half in tips because people don't tip the restaurant for delivery. They tip the driver. And so, not that that's wrong. I don't really care. I didn't, I wasn't oh, damn it, the economy's fucked. I'm going to take a stand or something. I'm okay, time to move on to something else. And so, I found this app through Craigslist that does gigs, and you just pick a shift and you pick time and how much you get paid and you sign up. And so I started working at this warehouse, and it's pretty easy.
Okay, bro,
over
what
time,
the fuck is this, dude? How is this the least interesting man in America who is a functional heroin addict? I literally started off this video thinking like there's gonna be a point where like there's a turn. Where the fuck is the turn, bro? He's literally, when he was talking about his like child abuse, I thought he was gonna like actually get into like some fucking freak story. It's like, oh, his middle class dad like was very upset with him for, you know, him like stepping out of line. So then he called the cops and then they arrested his dad. Like, it's almost like it's interesting because of how uninteresting this is, okay? What the fuck? There's got to be a point where like shit hits the fan, right? Or is this unironically how like white dudes get lost in the sauce and like start doing heroin and shit? They just have like normal developments, and then all of a sudden, before you know, there's like, yeah, it's fucking kind of chill. So I started doing heroin, dude. Like, what the fuck? How is this super interesting? Okay, I'll keep going. Sorry, I won't.
Took on more responsibility, and they've made me like shift lead and stuff, and it's all right. It's not.
But you'd consider yourself a good employee.
Oh, yeah, man. It's frustrating because like most of these people, 90% of these people could give a shit. But that's what is the problem with these gig apps. I mean, there's multiple problems, but that you're hiring people that don't care at all. They have they could give a shit if they work hard or not. And these people that are managing it, they don't care either as long as the job's getting done. They don't care how it gets done. So in terms of recognition, I have a few close people I talk to, and we all know that we're great. And I mean, I guess that sounds conceited, but it's just the fact. And so we talk and hang out and we compliment each other, but there's only one person that has come up to me and said out of their way, you know, like anything. And it wasn't a manager. It was a guy that does boxes in the back that I am 99% sure is doing blow in the bathroom every day. This dude flushes the toilet every 10 seconds and then is farting his ass off. Like, I've done coke. Like, I know the deal, bro. Like, you don't need to flush the toilet. Like, I can hear you snorting it, and I'm not gonna tell on you. Like, but yeah, he said that, and that made me feel really good. And I was like, wow, that's amazing that person like thought to say that. And he's actually a really intelligent guy. I've heard him talking. He's from the streets in Oakland, and he's a tough dude, or so he seems. He puts on the front. But yeah, I like him. He's cool.
So your drug.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh yeah.
You use what?
So I use heroin. I smoke heroin.
And how long has this been going on?
So I started with oxycodone, Roxy's, blues, 30s. In 2012, a little bit, I was dabbling with that a little bit in black tar heroin. I was working doing vending machines. I had that job for 7 years.
You were smoking it?
Mm-hmm. Always. After doing coke for a couple years, I was sick of putting stuff up my nose, and I'm afraid of needles. And I've seen what happens with that. Which, not saying that me smoking heroin is so much better than injecting it, but it just seems. But then again, I mean, I smoke cigarettes, I smoke that. I was smoking a ton of weed, which I barely smoke anymore, but I mean, it definitely affects my breathing and affects my lungs, and that's something I'm worried about and that I would like to quit eventually. I mean, I actually was on methadone recently, but my work schedule made it to where I couldn't get to the clinic anymore, because for the first 3 months, you have to go to the clinic every day. That's part of the process. And I was doing fine. Methadone's a little odd. It's kind of, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like if I could choose, and if heroin was legal and didn't give me breathing problems to smoke, I would choose heroin any day over methadone. But because methadone is socially accepted in the world and you're not smoking it and ruining your lungs, it's obviously the better choice, and it's cheaper. It's easier on the pocketbook. And so... sorry, back to the Roxy's. It was actually 2013. It was shortly after I quit the music thing. The Vincent Gallo show, I quit after that. I was done. I was like, I'm the guy putting up all the money, all the time, all the effort. Everybody's saying, great job, man, keep it up. But they're not the ones doing all that. So I said, fuck it, I'm not doing this shit anymore. And shortly after that, I had a best friend named Tiffany that would come pick me up after work. We would drink, we'd do coke, we'd hang out all the time. And one day she comes to pick me up and, hey, blah, 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 I'm dating this guy, and he showed me these pills and OxyContin, basically. This is back when the 80s, the OC 80s were still around. And for all the people out there that know, the ones you have to lick the coating off, and then, excuse me. So she showed up, and I, at that point in my life, I was 27, and I was just like sick of everything, and was like, might as well join the 27 Club, right? Which, if you don't know, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all those people that died of drug-related deaths. Anyway, I didn't really want to die, but I was just giving up. And so I was like, fuck it, I don't care, sure, let's do it. And that was the biggest mistake of my life, because I fucking loved it. And everybody says, don't do opiates, don't do heroin. You're never going to come back from it. And of course, I didn't listen. I have to try everything on my own. And I mean, my life isn't like Requiem for a Dream now. Like, I'm not going and doing ass to ass for money, But I loved it. And some people say this, other people just get the nods and are kind of like, but it makes me like fucking boom. I'm me, I'm myself, I'm happy, I'm free, I'm energetic. Like, it's crazy. It became what I wanted it to be, and it became what I needed it to be. And that's crazy, because it's like it took it's a fucking crazy drug. It's like it took my brain over, and it just said like, this is what you needed, and like, this is the way it should be. And so
I'm sorry, dude. I just like, I cannot like this guy. Like, I just like everything that he's saying. Like, the saddest part about this is like, dude, if we had like a functional, socialized healthcare system, like, this dude would not have to self-medicate by micro-dosing fucking heroin, okay? And he could like figure out whatever the fuck his issues are, and then, get the proper prescription instead of micro-dosing and turning himself into a fucking heroin addict. But having said that, he's just like incredibly annoying for some fucking reason.
Like, there have been multiple times that I've tried to quit on my own. There's been periods of 3 months where I've been able to quit. When I moved to Arkansas, I was able to quit for 3 months. Especially, I thought, well, shit, I'm going to Arkansas. I'm not going to know anybody out there. So there's no way I'm going to, know about it.
So, your drug use has continued. You're still using heroin today.
Right, because I couldn't make the methadone treatments anymore, and so I didn't want to get sick and experience the withdrawals. I tried to quit cold turkey back in September a few months ago, but I got to day 2 or 3, day 2 the first time, and I broke down and said, fuck it. I had some straws with resin, shake those up with some alcohol and put that on the foil, and you're good.
But does it affect your work?
No, nobody has any idea. Nobody. It makes me better at work.
It almost sounds it makes you better. It
makes me better.
I've heard people tell me this about crack cocaine, that these are ADHD people.
Right, like maybe I have that. People have said that too, and I don't know. I've never been diagnosed.
I've had people tell me that crack does the opposite what it does to most people.
It just makes them like fine, or it makes them slow.
It slows them down, calms them down.
Calms them down because they can't focus. Huh.
So,
Yeah.
I think these drugs affect everyone differently.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, unless I start getting crazy and doing too much, then it can kind of.
Has that happened?
Do it. Yeah, because there was a time where I was just like depressed and like didn't care and everything, and so I was just like fuck it and spending all my money. But now I've learned that that's not worth it, because then I get in too deep and that the money's going to run out, and so I just pace myself and try not to do too much, and you know, it sucks when I'm home alone sometimes and I'm just bored, because then I'll just like take hits just because I'm bored.
You would consider yourself an addict?
Yeah.
All
Oh
right.
yeah, every day. I do heroin every day, all day, every day.
You wake up and
I wake up and smoke. I hop out of bed. It's like I feel like I'm going to some huge event, like the freaking Outside Lands Festival's happening today, and I get to meet all the bands just because I get to smoke. Like, it's crazy. Like,
but you find it prepares you for your day. It makes
yeah,
you
it makes me
sharper.
happy. It makes me, I'm energetic because I get out of bed. I'm like, oh, damn, I need to. And you know what? You know what? This sucks, and this is making me very worried. Besides the breathing thing, is recently I've been waking up and my hand is like numb, and like I also, it might be carpal tunnel because of what I'm doing at work, so I'm trying to do exercises, but I mean, shit, I don't know if it has to do with the drugs, you know? That scares me. So, and then I'm like, fuck, I can't use a lighter, you know what I mean? So that really sucks. But yeah,
Have you met other people that are functional addicts like this?
Kind of, but not like, I mean, the people, there were like people, especially like when I was doing Oxy, that was more of a, so with Oxy, sometimes, because Oxy was expensive, let's get like $35 a pill sometimes, and heroin's way cheaper, and that's why I started doing it, because it gets you higher and it's cheaper. And so Oxy, I would...
Bro, functional is doing a lot of fucking work here. When he says I'm functional. Bro, the fact, like, you're saying you're functional as far as, like, because you can make your money work for the heroin. That's crazy, dude. The other really sad part about this, someone just said the mediocrity is impressive. I agree. I have never seen a situation where, like, I've seen someone who's just like the most boring heroin addict on the planet, dude. He's just like a guy. And he's just like, yeah, I'm doing heroin. It's chill. It's nuts. I've never seen something like this. Also, he says he's like functional. He says he's functional, but it's like, it's only functional because he can make his money, like the limitation that he has with his income is just like kind of helping him a little bit in a weird way, because like he can't do more heroin because he doesn't have a lot more money. So he's like forcing himself to microdose because he admits it. He's like, yeah, I just like, you know, I just want to fucking oof, bad take. Why the fuck is everybody saying bad take, dude? Stop romanticizing it. I just don't think you should be, like, there is no such thing as a functional heroin addict. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a... I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. I don't like that. Like, there should be no concept as, like, a functional heroin addict. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what pisses me off. And the other thing that fucking frustrates me about this video is that he's so fucking casual. It's not romanticizing this man's life as a tragedy. I'm not even romanticizing. I'm literally saying that, like, it frustrates me that he's so casual about this thing, this fucking addiction that has destroyed millions of fucking lives, murdered people, and ruined fucking families all around the country. How the fuck can you sit here and not be upset? I know, dude. I know that you guys are all so fucking incredibly woke and you love self-medicating and you're a bunch of fucking dumb morons in the chat because you're all fucking 14 and like everything needs to be, we need to be super welcoming and super understanding, but like it fucking frustrates me to no end that this dude has like basically structured his entire life around like doing heroin. I'm not dismissing his problems. I'm dismissing his dismissive attitude around his problems. Okay? I don't know. Like, it's just very... He's literally telling his life story. Are you stupid? There he is. He's sitting right there. Won't last for many years. But still, he's struggling. And you're shitting on him. Yeah. It's making me mad that he's like so... It feels almost callous. Okay? Like some of the things that he says, even though he's like, some of the things he says frustrates me. Okay? Some of the things he says frustrates me. As someone who's also struggled with addiction, it makes me so mad because he's in it right now. Okay? He's not out of it. So he's talking like a fucking addict. And the addiction that he's talking about is heroin. Okay? So I'm sorry to all the fucking morons in my chat who have never in their fucking lives had to struggle with addiction. So you like look at that and go, what? Like, why are you fucking shitting on a person? This is a bad take and it keeps getting worse. Suck my dick, dude. Anyway, the point I was gonna make is the other thing that's like frustrating about the frustrating part about this is the methadone clinic. Like he can't even go to the fucking methadone clinic because he has to work. Chat different opinion. Chat equals chat 14. You're saying he should be functional enough to consider getting serious help and treatment? Yes, dude. Yes. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated to see someone being like, yeah, I'm just like a functional, casual heroin addict, dude. Okay? Like, I feel like this is terrifying. He doesn't understand the gravity of Hassan, so that makes him a dipshit. Yes, it's fucking making me mad. It's like making me mad that he himself is like not using every opportunity in this interview to be like, this is fucking terrible. This is devastating. Do not learn. Do not do not think that you can do this. It's not something you can do. Okay? He needs to be more remorseful about his own fucking addiction, or at least honest, or at least self-aware about the situation that he's found himself in. Straight up. If you're a fucking good person, doesn't matter if you're a goddamn addict or not, what you should be doing is literally like, you know, push people away from it instead of talking about it as though your life is, you know, normal and dandy. So I'm sorry to all the chatters who are like fucking upset with the way I'm talking about it. Yeah, I know methadone is terrible. I'm a recovering heroin addict, and methadone and outpatient care is horrendous. There are days where I have to pick either work or methadone because it sometimes takes 2 hours to get a dose daily. You're shitting on this guy more than you shit on murderers and pimps. I mean, because like everyone knows murder is fucking wrong. So, you know, it's not, no matter what I do, you can't fucking show murder in a similar light. But for some reason, this is like, you know, given how people think about like self-medicating and shit like that, I'm genuinely concerned that this comes across as like heroin addiction is like a manageable thing. The way he's like saying it.
This is back, Craigslist made it to where you can't post certain keywords now. But back in the day, you used to be able to post Roxy blue jeans, size 30, and then that's how, you know, I would find dealers sometimes actually. And I mean, walking around the Tenderloin, like walking Pill Hill. I mean, I used to have to do it sometimes, and it sucked. I mean, one time a guy tried to uppercut me. It was fucked up. Just because I wouldn't buy his pills, his shitty fucking fake pills. Like, sorry, dude. Luckily you missed. I mean, I don't know what would have happened. But not that I'm some tough guy. I'm not trying to sound like, oh, girl, I would have beat his ass. You know, I'm not like that. But, I mean, I might have tried to. But anyway, I would meet people on Craigslist because I started to realize, and other people would do this, I picked it up, like if you sell the pills to somebody else and mark them up, or a common thing I would say if I knew they weren't going to buy that many is I'd say, all right, just throw me a pill, or throw me a half. Like that's when you were really desperate. You'd say, throw me a half a pill, and then they would, and you know. One time I did that, this girl, we were smoking in a bathroom, and she fucking got on the floor and started smoothing the foil out on the floor of a dirty Jack in the Box bathroom. And I was like, I'm on the wall doing it, you know? The wall's smooth too. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was a little, whoop, you know, and she's like, what? I'm fucking, you know, smoothing it out. I was like, dude, on the wall, the bathroom floor is dirty. And she didn't care. So yeah, whatever. So I'd meet functional addicts, somewhat. Mm-hmm. They were definitely eccentric. They definitely had their things, and they weren't reliable.
So it sounds like you're a case where maybe your psychological makeup is.
But nobody's gonna listen to that. You will, because you understand, because you've talked to so many people and you pay attention and you care. There are people out there that have no concept of this and don't want to hear it. Because that's the way the world
Yeah,
is.
well, I'm open-minded, but,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've never smoked pot, so I don't know anything about drugs. The fact that I'm doing this channel that
Nice.
seems to revolve
Good for you,
around
man.
drugs, it really doesn't in my mind. But certainly there's
Yeah.
lots of drug stories. I don't even know how to spell marijuana.
I wish you were as militant against climate change activists as you are against heroin activists.
so I'm just open-minded. I find it interesting that it helps you.
Yeah,
I believe it.
I find it interesting that you've never even smoked marijuana. I mean, not that I'm saying like, oh, you should or you should have, but yeah, they need the channel, you know. It's,
Yeah, I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just,
yeah, right. Neither
I've
am
got
I.
my own problems
Yeah.
in there.
I'm not saying I'm better than any other addict. You know, like we all have our own things, and we're all unique. Everybody. It makes the world, and sometimes it's the beauty of the world that's the fucked up things.
I think finding something that helps you find fulfillment and happiness is important. and if that happens to be heroin, and you've got it under control, maybe it's okay.
What?
I don't know.
I do, but then it's the money thing.
No, dude. No. Fuck no. Hey, chat, where are you now? I want to hear from the chatters who are like, dude, this video is like, wow, you're a fucking idiot. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Bro, this is literally the most libertarian interview I've ever seen in my entire life. Listen. Like, I'm all in for fucking decriminalization, okay? I am. 100% decriminalize it, okay? But goddamn, dude, this shit is so fucking dangerous. What the fuck? Let me just say something here, okay? There's no such thing as a fucking functional heroin addict, okay? It just means he hasn't gotten to that point where it's no longer functional yet. And the same cycle of like his job finding and his income has ironically kept him in that consistent phase, but that doesn't mean he's going to stay there forever. That's not a thing. Like, that's not a real thing. Bad take. You're right, dude. No, there are totally, dude. It's totally functional that, you will never fucking go off the deep end with heroin, dude. You're right. It's such a weird take, but then again, I must be 14 because I don't agree with you. It's fucking nuts, dude. There's like so many, I guess there's so many functional fucking morons in my chat. Okay? You guys are, like, a lot of you are just like psychotic, but functional in the sense that like people haven't recognized how fucking insane you are. Watch his follow-up video. He's very remorseful in that one and talks about how terrible heroin has been for him. Good. There you go. But chatters are fucking caught up with like the most mediocre white man in America because like all you need is a fucking mediocre white man, chatters. Holy fucking shit. It's nuts. You guys got like caught up with how fucking charismatic he is, I guess. You're like, yeah, I don't understand. Like, why are you fucking denying this guy his, valid experience of being a functional heroin addict?
You know,
How much do you spend?
It's a lot of money. I mean,
What do you spend?
Wrong. Address the arguments. What arguments did you make? So does the media create drug addicts now? Is that your contention? You have cognitive dissonance? What? I don't think the media's creating drug addicts. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm frustrated with this person who is like himself a drug addict, literally talking about it. I'm not saying that like you see heroin in a fucking movie and then you become a heroin addict. This is a little bit different than that. This is a person who is literally a real life human being, like talking to people about how he's like, And normally I would not fucking attack addicts. You know this. I have a lot of addicts in my community. I've struggled with addiction in my fucking life as well, in my life as well. Okay? But this is one of those instances where it is literally like he's just so callous with his indifference about his own personal experience with it. And some of you guys are just like, looking at this like, oh, dude, it's whatever. Like, thousands of actual addicts in the chat. Maybe you should chill. What the fuck do you mean, dude? Nicotine addiction versus gamba, drugs, or opiates do not compare. No, I'm talking about alcohol, you fucking idiot. I'm talking about alcohol. I'm not talking about cigarettes, even though cigarettes are fucking bad too. So shut the fuck up if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Jesus Christ, dude. I think a lot of people just don't have the experience with heroin addicts and what it does to you. They think heroin is just the same as weed. There's no situation where heroin is good. You should be way more mad at the interview with the softball agreement and giving him the platform versus mad at the mentally ill addict rationalizing his addiction. If you ask chatters, they're going to be like, he's not fucking mentally ill. But I am. This is one of the worst like interviews I've seen on this channel as far as like how damaging it is. Yes, nicotine can be just as fucking addictive as heroin or whatever the fuck, but it doesn't matter because nicotine doesn't fucking murder you and destroy your life in the same way that heroin does. It can, but it takes a lot longer, okay? And it's the worst thing, dude. Do not smoke cigarettes. They're fucking awful. Tobacco's awful. Nicotine is awful, but it's also not as addictive as heroin. But like, regardless, it doesn't matter. It's nowhere near as damaging or deadly as heroin is. It doesn't make it good. It's still fucking incredibly bad. Like, he's literally talking about heroin and how it like helps him function, like it helps him self-medicate. How the fuck do you guys not see how damaging this is as a person who's not like in a movie depicting like a scenario? LCSW, CADC working in substance use. This is a shit take. What? Not true. What? I don't understand what the fuck you're saying. I don't know why people just say fucking this is a shit take. And then people never like actually to expect an active user to stand outside his delusions and represent his addiction honestly is impossible. I understand your anger is a natural response, especially if you have the experience of knowing addiction yourself. But these people are so far from the type of objective self-reflection. The interviewer should know better, though, and the framing of his questions are enabling. Yeah, I don't know. Why are you arguing with imaginary chatters? I'm clicking on chatters. These are not imaginary chatters. These are real chatters that are in here just going, bad take, bro, bad take.
A week or
a month, probably $1,500. So I could have a nice apartment.
$1,500 a month.
$1,500, yeah. Because I imagine I probably do.
You are making plenty of functioning heroin users, not addicts, feel isolated. What? Dude, I can't tell what's a fucking debate and what's a meme anymore, dude. I literally can't tell if this person is like some like crusty fucking anarchist or unironically like just memeing.
And it's illegal.
500 a day. Nope, 50 a day.
It's illegal, so technically you could end up in jail, right?
Right. Yep. So yeah, that sucks.
But talking to you, looking at you, you don't look like the typical.
I'm sorry. Like if a person like this was just like talking about their experience with heroin around me and around people that I love, especially young impressionable people, I would get them the fuck away from the impressionable people. Sorry, like that doesn't mean I don't believe that like addiction should be treated like an illness and not like a criminal thing. But you can say bad take all day, every day. Something like 40% of the U.S. adult population does some form of opiate. Yo, ban all the people that are saying this. Exactly, jackass. That's precisely how they fucking get addicted to fentanyl and heroin because they can't pay for the fucking scripts anymore. and they keep upping the dosage. What the fuck are you talking about? This is why there's a fucking epidemic right now, dude. There's a literal heroin epidemic in this country, and you're like, 40% of Americans use some form of opiates. Like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that was a good thing, dude. Sick. You're literally making my point as to why this is so fucking damaging.
Heroin addict that I've interviewed.
And that's why I'm still probably here.
Maybe the point is something in heroin works for some number of people and core research should be done for safer for these folks. Okay, dude, here, take a fucking week off, 5-month subscriber.
And functioning and not on the streets, you know?
Yeah.
Because if it started to affect me, I mean, I don't know.
It's not even a fucking wrong take, but in this circumstance, in this context, I'm gonna ban you. You should be happy that I didn't permanently ban you.
If I started smoking crack, I probably would. I know a
I
buddy.
can't count how many heroin addicts I've talked to that just nodded off in the middle of an interview.
Right. They probably also shoot up. Well, I guess people now, I've known people that nod off that smoke it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's never happened except one time. The worst story is I was drunk and I went to my dealer's RV, a guy that was living in an RV, and he had terrible shit. It wasn't doing anything for me, and I was pissed. And because I'd have to travel like an hour and a half to this guy. And I was at that point, very stupid. I said, you gotta have something. And he goes, yeah, I have fentanyl. And me knowing exactly what that is and what could happen and everything, was drunk and said, fuck it, I don't care, line me up some or whatever. I don't know how long later I wake up and I'm like, where the fuck am I? What happened, you know? And everybody is around me, scared out of their mind. And I fucking OD'd, man. I fucking OD'd for the first time ever. And that really upset me because I didn't ever think I'd get to that point. But yeah, they had to hit me with Narcan like 5 times, they said. And like they said I was turning gray, and like only my girlfriend knows about this. Like nobody else knows about. I mean, this is the people that were there, but whew, man, I really tried to quit after that, man. I got through like a week, and I was happy, but
Yeah.
I was happy that I quit. I was fucking bored out of my mind, you know. But yeah, fentanyl's no good. Don't do it. Everybody out there, don't do it.
Yeah. No, fentanyl's a very different game than heroin.
I think that's the other part of it that frustrates me. It's like a cure for boredom, dude. Like the way he talks about it as though it's like a cure for like being bored. When he was talking about how it's kind of like going to Lollapalooza every morning when I do heroin, like that's when I fucking lost it. I was cooking chicken in the kitchen and I was like screaming. You didn't hear me because I was in the kitchen. But that's when I was like, dude, what the fuck? I think he's lying about boredom. He's depressed. Yeah, probably. Most likely. And for the record, that's why you chew nicotine, bitch? No, I don't chew nicotine because I'm fucking bored. I chew nicotine because I'm a nicotine addict. And because I'm worried that if I stop, I'll fucking smoke cigarettes again. This proves your point even more. Buddy went directly to fentanyl. Like, that's just insane. Yeah.
It's a fucking crazy game.
For the record, that's why there's no such thing as like a functional heroin addict, okay? Because boom, like literally fucking for 24 minutes he described like his experiences, and then all of a sudden in the end he reveals that like, oh yeah, I fucking overdosed on fentanyl in my drug dealer's RV and almost fucking died, and they have to shove me full of fucking Narcan.
Play, man. That's yeah.
It's a very common move for a heroin addict to
And
switch
I
over to
do not
fentanyl.
want to do that at all. And I know there is some fentanyl in the black tar heroin.
So that's what I was going to say, is that very
Right.
often they're lacing it and they're mixing it.
Luckily, I have
Even crystal meth or crack, they'll do that with.
Yeah. Luckily, I have a.
I mean, they can do it to anything. I think some of the girls that work that have pimps will smoke a joint, and the joint might be laced with
Oh my god.
crack or meth or heroin or fentanyl or whatever, and then they're addicted, and then they're basically a slave to the pimp.
Yeah, I heard a story about a guy once that smoked a joint with some random dude. He was lost in the middle of the night in the snow in Chicago, couldn't find his car, and some dude says, "Bro, I've seen you walk by a few times. Come in, you could stay." And he seemed like a cool guy. He's like, "You want to smoke a joint?" The guy's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I smoke weed. Let's smoke." Fucking smokes it. It was laced with meth. Dude starts jerking off in front of him and fucking holds him captive overnight. Wow, I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
The world you're involved in by using this illicit narcotic is problematic, right?
Totally. And I was saying, I have a reliable dealer that I trust, but that doesn't mean anything. He could get something that he doesn't know about. But I mean, at this point, I'm really just trying to make it through until I get the next job, which should happen in a couple weeks, and then I get a set schedule and I can get back to the methadone clinic, because I know, I'm smart.
So you say your mind works better on heroin. Mm-hmm. Could you ever get clean and still enjoy life to its fullest?
I mean, I did before.
You did.
It's not like before.
That's probably a safer
before
way to
I
go.
started, I wasn't enjoying life. I was just depressed in that moment, and I made a bad decision.
Yeah.
Well,
it sounds like getting clean would be the best move.
Oh, totally, yeah, and I want to. I didn't even want to do methadone because I said I don't want to replace an addiction with an addiction. And my buddies,
You're shitting on him for being what? You're shitting on him for being addicted and not acknowledging how devastating it is? Yeah, that's kind of a fucking big problem, don't you think? I feel like you put a comma there as though it's to say I'm shitting on him for being an addict. I'm not shitting on him for being an addict. I'm shitting on him for fucking not acknowledging how devastating it is. That's a full sentence. Like, if you put a comma there, it doesn't separate it. It doesn't turn into an entirely different fucking, entirely different sentiment, okay? Instead of the interviewer who has no excuse for enabling it, that's the point of contention. No, I think the interviewer enabling it is also bad.
on methadone, and he tried to stop one day, and he said it was way worse than heroin. So I know there's maintenance plans where they can wean you off slowly but surely, and I'm hoping that's what's going to work. If not, I've said this to people I'm close to and my girlfriend, like, I think I just need to be locked up somewhere, for 30 days, because I am resourceful. It sucks. I don't like lying, and I know that probably sounds like bullshit.
Like, every fucking ex-addict in the chat is agreeing with me, except for, I guess, a few voices for the most part. I don't know what else to say other than, like, literally every person who's like, I'm a recovering, heroin addict or opiate addict. Whereas, like, there's a bunch of random people in here that I guess think that they're fucking functional heroin addicts or something. I don't know. Where was this interview with the pimp glorifying his job yesterday? I mean, we shat on the fucking pimp too. Especially the gorilla pimp who was like talking about fucking beating women. It was like devastating. What the fuck do you mean? Maybe you didn't care about it because you didn't see yourself in the pimp, okay? Maybe that's why. I mean, I'm serious. There's got to be something else. Keyword is recovering. You cannot expect an addict to recognize the bad. That's a wild expectation. Yeah. So I guess don't put a fucking camera on addicts. Like, that's it. Especially if you're not going to ask the right questions. Because they're just going to justify it. Because they're literally justifying it to themselves on a daily basis. I just know, dude. I know how fucking damaging that way is. I thought that way, dude. I thought this way. Anyone who's ever fucking been addicted to anything damaging knows what that's like. You're like, oh, dude, it's just fine. Like, it's just gonna be all right. Like, you know, I'm just drinking a little bit. Okay, it's not that much. I have it under control. Next day, it's gonna be different. When I go out and I'm gonna drink, I'm just gonna drink a little bit. Next day is gonna be different. Boom, blackout. Next day, it's gonna be different. Boom, blackout. It's fine. Nothing terrible happened. Next day, it'll be different. Boom, blackout. It's fine. Everybody drinks. It's all good. And before you know it, you're a fucking psycho. You're just drinking every goddamn night, and you're fucking binge drinking, and you're blacking out all the time. And it's terrible. And when you're in it, you're thinking to yourself, like, it's fine. I have it under control. I mean, other people do it. You rationalize it in different ways. Like the way that some fucking baboons in my chat were rationalizing, like, well, people take opiates for a multitude of different reasons. 40% of Americans take opiates, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, that is the most triggering fucking thing I can ever hear from someone while we're in the middle of talking about fucking recovering drug addicts, okay? Or just drug addiction in general. Like, that's like, just fucking shoot someone in the face, dude. Literally. It's like giving more ammo to someone who is, like, not even remotely interested in recovery or rationalizing his addiction as best as he possibly can. You literally just load up the fucking chamber at that point. That's why I'm fucking losing my mind. Because a lot of you are either not aware. A lot of you are either unaware of what it looks like or what it feels like, what it's like when you're in that situation. Just kill drug addicts. Good take. That's not what I said, you fucking asshole. That's never what I said. 11-month subscribers. Suck my cock. I said giving drug addicts additional ammo. Giving addicts additional ammo to fucking cope with and rationalize their addictive behavior is basically the same as fucking loading up a chamber and giving them the gun. Okay? You're literally you're giving validation and allowing them to feel like, it's just, yeah, I am right. Other people also feel the same way. You're enabling this insanely fucking horrible problem. How about safe supply? This is moronic and reactionary. I think safe supply tackles only one element of the problem, the criminalization problem. But ultimately, that doesn't mean that, like, people should just, like, fucking run around being addicted to heroin, dude. Like, that's still fucking terrible, dude. I guess I'm a fucking reactionary for thinking that, people shouldn't get, that we shouldn't, that we should be trying to solve addiction rather than feed into it and let people just fucking drip it up. There's also the other side of this, which is like, he's just in heavy denial, dude. I don't think you can expect an addict to give a PSA on how drugs are bad while he's on fucking drugs. I mean, that's not what my expectation is. It's just, like, fucking annoying to me that, like, the only moment of clarity that you have from him, recognizing how fucked up the situation is that moment where he recalls the incredibly traumatic event of him almost dying as a consequence of overdosing in his fucking drug dealer's RV off of fentanyl. Okay? That's the only time where you see the real clarity and the honesty, and for a brief moment, the fucking shallow veneer that he has around him, around himself, just it goes away, and that's the real moment. Well, I agree with you 100%, but if we were talking about weed, I'd definitely be justifying and rationalizing it. Yes, because there's different drugs that have different impacts, okay? Like, yeah, fucking marijuana is not the same as heroin. What the fuck, chat? Are you insane? It's like physically impossible to overdose on marijuana, dude. What are you talking about? Like, the amount of marijuana necessary for you to fucking overdose on marijuana is so vast. The quantity is so large that it's physically impossible for you to smoke all of that or inject it. No, it's not. You can easily overdose on marijuana. Google that.
I really don't, but as an addict with the world the way it is and people, would look at me a certain way, I have to lie because I need to get by and just, yeah. I was living with my girlfriend's mom and her for a couple weeks, and her mom had me pegged from probably day 2. She told her he's on drugs, and I was with my girlfriend for almost a year.
How could she tell?
She's smart. Her ex-husband was an addict. She knew. She and also is making, longer trips to the bathroom quite often, and I'd always play YouTube videos. I watch Soft White Underbelly, in the bathroom while
everybody that watches that
they're
channel
like, what
is
are
an
you
addict.
doing in there? I'm watching the Hillbillies. Shut up.
They're all a bunch of drug addicts watching that channel.
Yeah, so.
The video doesn't even try and show his behavior as anything but what he says it is. That's the problem. Yes. That's the issue. Thank you for understanding what my problem is. I need to watch his follow-up now. Look, nicotine is bad. I mean, even sugar is fucking addictive. But heroin is on an entirely fucking different level, especially with its impact. But absolutely nothing is more addictive than the top of the hour ad break that comes literally when you least expect it. Okay? Because sometimes you're watching a video and you're like, where is this video going to go? And then all of a sudden, bam, 60-second ad break. That's where the video is going. Now, of course, there is a way to avoid said ads. Okay, if you want an ad-free broadcasting experience. That's my addiction now. I've substituted my addictions, my vices in the past to being addicted to segues. Okay? Anyway, if you'd like to no longer see the ads, you can subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or you can use an ad blocker or a VPN. Here's the ad break now.
All right, Matthew.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So your video,
Wait, what the fuck?
which I didn't expect any kind of
Wait, this is not the same guy. Oh my God, it is the same guy.
unusual response from, became I think the most popular video in the last probably 12 months or almost 12 months of my channel, which tells me a lot about what some of my audience is into.
Yeah.
But tell me where you're at today. So last time you're a functional heroin addict.
Right.
You had a job.
Yeah, which, can be debated by people. So, and, it's functional to an extent. Like I mentioned last time, the money issue is a big deal. And, when the money runs out, it really sucks. And I guess
That's not the big deal. That was what I was fucking mad about. That was the other reason why I was mad about it. It's like, first sentence, he proved you right? Yeah, of course, dude. Of course I was fucking right. Fuck chat. I'm always right.
I didn't emphasize that enough, that I was in a really good mood last time, which, I'm in a good mood right now, but you know, after watching the video and reading comments and stuff, I realized that maybe I should have been a little bit more, explain a little bit more about the downsides of it, because it's obviously not all just happy-go-lucky, you know, like everything's great all the time.
That you've been through some rough times. You and I have spoken off
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. It's just, I mean, I'm 35 years old. I live in a room. I rent a room with roommates. I have a few good friends and some close family. But besides that, like, I mean, with the addiction, sorry, I kind of.
Oscar would literally disagree with every take of yours. Yes, they're unfucking bearable, dude. Oscar would literally fucking shoot up heroin just to prove a point about how I'm fucking wrong. I know, guys. You guys are super lefty. You guys are like way more lefty than me. It's fine. Like, they would literally be like, dude, you're fucking wrong, dude. I'm gonna shoot up heroin now to show you how fucking wrong you are.
Getting jumbled up here. I get depressed. I mean, since I was a teenager, I mean, I've had depression issues, but I've never gone to a doctor or got medication or anything. I've just never been that kind of person. I've always tried to just deal with things on my own and didn't want to be on prescribed drugs, which, you know, I eventually got into legal drugs, which, you know, but yeah, there's been times recently where I've been depressed. I mean, when the stuff runs out and you start to experience withdrawals, I mean, it generally takes about 12 hours for it to set in. So from the last hit I take, when the stuff's gone, about 12 hours later, I'll start yawning, I'll start getting sleepy, then I'll start getting maybe cold sweat, a little bit sweaty, and then it starts getting the stomach sickness. And that's when it's really bad, when my stomach's really in pain and I have to be close to a bathroom, because that's just
There was a guy on Reddit who tried to do that and prove that you could take heroin regularly and function. His entire account was a documented downward spiral as he fucking destroyed his life. That is the most Reddit thing you can do, bro. I swear to God. That is the most Reddit thing you can do, to like prove a dumbass point that you're absolutely wrong on. I can't believe it. I can't believe a Hoscord guy was on Reddit before he was ever in the Hoscord.
the way it goes with withdrawals. And unfortunately, it gets that way sometimes because I haven't managed my money properly. I know in the video last time I said, you know, I've learned to space things out. And I mean, that for the most part does work, but I have low self-control. I have self-control issues. And so I definitely will smoke the last of it and then not know when I'm going to get more, or, you know, well, I know eventually it'll happen, but you know, how many hours, or so there's days where I'm just laying in bed, just waiting to hear from the dealer, and like, don't want to leave the bed. I don't want to watch TV. I don't even look at my phone. I don't want to text anybody. I don't want to deal with anything. In fact, just looking at the phone the other day while I was feeling that way, I was just like, this is such a leash to me. Like, I have all these notifications from all these.
Leftism is when you demonize an addict in denial. No, leftism is when you fucking act like an addict who's in denial is totally operating normally, especially when you recognize that he has functionally very little autonomy over their own and very little self-agency. Totally, dude. Also, my criticisms, I mean, me saying he's boring in the beginning is what set off chat in this weird way, because no matter, I do blame the interviewer. Shut the fuck up. I do. I already said that. But you guys also baby people to the degree where it's like, dude, he obviously has enough fucking autonomy and decency to recognize his mistakes from the previous fucking video that he shot, that he came back to literally say, I'm sorry, I feel terrible. I made it seem like it was totally poggers to fucking do heroin. And there's motherfuckers in the chat still like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. He's an addict. He has no control, dude. He has no wherewithal. He has no control. You're wrong. You're just wrong, dude. Please. It's literally the same guy who opened up by being like, He might as well have said, Hassan Piker of twitch.tv/Hasanabi was completely right in his criticisms of my previous video. Like, he might as well have started off like that, and you guys still be like, dude, you're fucking so stupid. You're dumb. He has no control. He has no control, dude. Leftists love infantilizing every single human being, dude. Always. Non-stop.
Different things, and it's also trivial. Like, I would love to just throw it away and just not have to.
What do you mean functional and a productive worker? See, this is a great take. So there's a lot of truth to that. Unfortunately, under capitalism, the only way we are seen as like functional is if we are productive. But the problem isn't like whether or not he can fucking work in the workplace. The problem is like he's literally addicted to heroin and can't live without doing heroin. And the only reason why he's working is to do more heroin. And that his entire life, as he's already explaining right here, is about finding the next hit, okay? To get as much heroin as possible. So that's why it's like, it's a oxymoronic take almost to say like that he's functional, in the sense that being a functional heroin addict just means like biding your time until you fucking can't function. Which you already went through. No, I know about fucking Dr. Carl Hart or whatever. Listen, man, there's charlatans everywhere, okay? I don't give a fuck if he's at Columbia University. I do not care. I do not fucking believe it. I do not care. You will never be able to... I could live with that guy and he could be shooting up every fucking day and I wouldn't believe it, okay? Yeah, dude, there's breatharians too, okay? I hate that. Like, I hate that fucking... Everyone always, like, sends that same video. Like, oh, dude, watch this doctor. I mean, he's an addiction specialist, bro. Okay, dude.
Have to deal with it. Like, I can just imagine, like, you know, if I lived 20, 30 years ago, which, you know, people said it looked like I was from the 60s or 70s, maybe it would have been better off. Maybe I would have been better off then. I don't know. But, you know, here I am now. But, yes, I definitely get depressed. I get the withdrawals. Usually I can get it taken care of within a few hours. So I'm able to smoke some and then I feel great again and I can go walk, work, do whatever, clean my room. But if I'm withdrawing, I'm not leaving the bed. I go in between like putting all the covers on me because I'm cold and then it's too hot and then I want them off and open the window, close the window and stuff like that.
And if you're working, if it's a work day, do you make it to work or do you blow it off?
I try my best not to let that happen. I try to get to work. There's been a couple times where I've had to call out sick because it just, you know, didn't work out with the time, but I try to avoid that, even if I have to just be late, because I'd rather be late than not, you know. I actually have 2 jobs now. I got the job that I had mentioned in the previous video that I was waiting for. I waited 3 months for that video. I mean, for that interview.
The job?
For the job, actually. I did 3 interviews. So I eventually got it. I'm waiting for the medical coverage to kick in. It takes about 3 months. You have to hit a certain amount of hours, and I'm about a third of the way there. So
I fucking
in a couple
hate this
months,
country, dude. This is the worst part about everything that he's saying. Is that, like, in order for him to get better, in order for him to get treatment, which is still like a fucking... not a foolproof treatment by any measure, okay? Methadone. He has to get a job as a fucking heroin addict, wait 3 fucking months as a fucking heroin addict so that he could potentially get his methadone treatment, which he won't be able to go to all the time as it's required because of his job that he had to get because he wanted to get the fucking methadone treatment. It's so fucked. Employer-dependent healthcare system is just like one of the most inhumane, cruel, awful fucking things that we do in this country, dude. I think you need to retail chat your stance on the criminalization and rehabilitation of drugs. Some people seem to be getting the wrong idea. Yeah, I think that addiction is an illness, okay? And it needs to be treated. It's not something you should be criminalizing, okay? I believe that these people, whether they are drug addicts or whether they're even like violent fucking criminals, can always be rehabilitated. Okay, this guy, so easy to save this guy. In many ways, that's the problem. Do heroin users exist? You existed so many what? Not everybody needs to be treated. If they want to be addicts, let them as long as they aren't harming others. Dude, how the fuck are you addicted to heroin without harming others? That's the delusional fucking take that you're saying, dude. It's like saying, dude, he's a functioning alcoholic. He's not going to harm anyone. You don't know a single fucking person in your life, I guess, that has ever been a fucking addict. That is such a wild take, dude. There is no such thing as someone who's like a fucking not harming others as they are literally like addicted to heroin or alcohol or anything for that matter, okay? The very nature of addiction is that it's unhealthy. You're literally not only harming yourself constantly, but also others around you too, in an effort to justify, or rather, continue your fucking addiction. Like, this motherfucker's literally talking about how when he comes down, which by the way is more frequent now than the way he was describing it a couple years ago when he did that original interview. Now he's way more frequently fucking, having to come down and not having enough. A couple months. Wait, what? Shut the fuck up. No, what year is this? 2021? Oh my God. Oh my God, this is a couple months. Oh my God, this is 5 months, dude. Oh my fucking God, dude. Chat, shut the fuck up, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I thought this was like a 3-year difference, dude. Come on, bro. He's a functional heroin addict. Like, what if he's not hurting anyone? I'm a libertarian and 14 years old. This is the same guy fucking between February and June, dude. Okay, that's 4 months. 4-month period. This is what happened to the dude. Look at how happy he is here, just like talking about it. And how great his life is versus now. Now, the other problem is like that the cycle has accelerated. The way I talk about addiction, in my experience, from my personal experience, you want to know? You want to know how I feel addiction is like? I've tried to analogize this before. I tried to talk about this before in the past, but addiction, when you're a fucking addict, is like the difference between the time period between the first sip and the terminal fucking velocity sip, okay? If it's alcohol or cigarettes. Cigarettes, let's say 1 pack a day is the bad amount, okay? Let's say 1 pack a day is, for me, I'm just explaining my experience with addiction. Let's say 1 pack a day of cigarettes is really bad. Like, it's really fucked up, okay? The difference between like the how addiction works is the difference between your first cigarette that you smoke and your second one getting shorter and shorter and smaller every time you relapse. And when you get to a certain point in your addiction, the difference between like the time frame in between you smoking 1 cigarette to smoking an entire pack, it's shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter every single time you relapse. Okay? That's how it works. You start off with 1 cigarette. The second time you ever smoke a cigarette, because you look cool, you think you look cool. The second time you ever smoke a cigarette is months later. And then you start smoking when you're drinking and alcoholic, or not alcoholic, like in situations where like you're social drinking, so you're socially smoking because you think it's cool. It makes you feel good. Nicotine gives you a massive rush. Okay? And then before you know it, you're like, well, maybe I should just stop bumming off people. I should buy a pack myself. Okay? For a lot of you, this is exactly how you started. This is exactly what your experience is. Then you're like, I should buy a pack myself. I'm sick and tired of bumming off people. It's fucked up. You buy a pack of cigarettes. And that's it. That's the fucking turning point for you. Okay? Now you just have a pack of cigarettes and you're smoking. You start smoking during the day. You start smoking in your apartment. You start smoking not on your balcony, but like literally inside of your apartment because you have an ashtray now. Now your fucking whole apartment smells like smoke all the goddamn time. You can't tell, but other people can. Okay? And you smell bad. Like you just smell like cigarettes all the fucking time. And then you quit. Really hard, but you're able to quit. Okay? And you start feeling better and better. You recognize, oh my God, my chest is opening up. What the fuck was wrong with me this entire time? I feel less groggy. I feel less sick all the fucking time. Okay? I feel more hungry. Start gaining weight. And then one night when you're drunk, it just catches you off guard. You smoke a cigarette again. Now, this time around, the difference between your first cigarette and your second one, that is significantly shorter. Okay? If the first time you ever smoked a cigarette, the difference between your first cigarette smoke and the time that passed before you had your second cigarette was like months, now it's a day, maybe a week. Okay? And now you've cut that in fucking half. The time that it goes from one cigarette to two cigarettes to an entire pack is now no longer half a year or a year, but instead, maybe a month. And if you quit again, the next time you relapse, that same exact shit's gonna happen. Okay? Now, of course, yes, as Baked F8 is describing it or writing in the chat, everyone's experience is different. Some people just literally are not addicted. I don't know how the fuck they do it. You should add that addiction never disappears. You can suppress it, but it never goes away even after years. Yeah. You can recognize that you're an addict and try to... I mean, I shouldn't say this. Not everyone's the same. I can now drink alcohol every now and then. I never luckily got to a point where I was like, I see fucking alcohol and I can't stop myself. Okay? And like I have to drink it. I luckily never got to that point. But that was where I thought I was going. I recognized that that's where I was going, so I stopped. Okay, I had really good friends. They were a great support system. And I was able to do so. I was able to quit cold turkey. Okay? And then I started drinking again. And even nowadays, like, when I drink, you know, I just want to drink more. Like, I want to drink. When I start, it's like hard to stop. Just the way it is. So I feel like it'll always, it's a weight I will carry with me everywhere I go. No matter what. And it got to that point because I let it get to that point when I was younger. A lot of bad drinking culture here in America. It's not good. To be honest, I don't think you drink at all. No, I haven't drank any alcohol since, I think, for the past 2 weeks. But that's only because I'm cutting. It's not because of, like, you know, I've had, like, a problem with it at all. Like, I have bottles of alcohol in my house. Anyway. And if you are in that deep pit right now, in that deep, dark pit where you, like, there's a moment where you're, like, justifying it to yourself, or you recognize that, like, you're justifying it to yourself now that we're talking about it, you can always seek help. 100%. Your friends, especially if you have good friends, they will help you. And you need them. What is the addiction? The way it makes you feel, or the way it tastes, or the social aspects? It's everything. Like, it's definitely not the social aspect. You start off because you think it looks cool, and then before you know it, you're like, oh my god, it feels fucking awesome. Cigarettes are the worst, dude. They're fucking terrible. Do not ever smoke. Seriously, it's the fucking absolute worst. Quit smoking cigarettes after going on 10 plus years with a few years of smoking a pack a day, and I'm lucky enough to somehow have cut it out of my life with zero interest in smoking ever again. Yeah, I don't want to. I never want to smoke again, ever. I hate it. The part of the hardest things with smoking is that, like, when you first quit, you're around it, you see it all the time, and you're just like, I want it so bad. It's so hard. It's so fucking hard when you're in it, but it feels awesome. Okay? There's no such thing as a former addict, only recovering addicts. Yeah, true. It's so awesome. The best.
Of medical coverage. I'm gonna go look into, see what the best solution for me is to get off this, because I don't have the luxury to just disappear from my life and go somewhere. I'd love to just say forget it, but it's like, where does all my stuff go? Who pays the rent? Or what do I... So I got to figure all that out. It would, ideal situation. I mean, seeing Amanda's video and that entire thing, sorry. That was really, that impacted me a lot. I think it impacted a lot of people, and a lot of people really cared about her. And she was a really sweet person, and it was really sad, what happened to her, but seemed like on such a great path. And watching the videos that Lima had posted of her in the rehab, she seemed so happy. And I was like, God, I'd love to, get away and do something like that. Because, I mean, what you've said and what Lima said is the rehab process of going somewhere for 30 days, which I also mentioned a lot.
That's what the fuck happens when you're addicted.
Last video that, if I could disappear for 30 days, that would help. It's like people said, it's not enough. A year is obviously ideal, but most people don't have that luxury, of disappearing for a year. But when you're in dire circumstances like she was, then there's really no other solution. I mean, this is 8 years now that I've been addicted to opiates. It's only been 2 or 3 with heroin, but the withdrawal symptoms have changed or evolved over time. I don't know if it's the drug. I don't know if it's my body getting used to it, or
the quality of the heroin,
or yes, the quality, or if it's how much fentanyl is in it nowadays. Because last time I went to methadone.
Dude, that's the point. We are incredibly adaptable, dude. Our tolerance just builds, dude. That's what it is. That's what I was pointing to, and I was trying to get you guys to recognize it. That's the reason why he fucking he runs out of heroin more frequently now than he did before. In the original video 3 months or 4 months ago, when he was talking about it, he was like able to cycle it. Okay? He was able to cycle it because he had not developed the same level of tolerance. Now, he's talking about how frequently he fucking runs out of heroin. That's how it works. You develop tolerance. You build tolerance, and then you need more. You need higher and higher doses.
Clinic, and they tested me for drugs. They showed me this and this is in your system, and at the very bottom they said fentanyl. And so I'm not seeking out fentanyl, so it's in the heroin. But yes, I'd like to get away and start over fresh and be removed from society where my mind, it races sometimes, and I'm just like, I probably have ADD or ADHD or whatever, because I just can't. I'm not content with just sitting down and watching TV and watching a movie. That's why I love watching movies at home, because I can pause it and I can do whatever the hell I want. When I'm in a theater, like, I went and saw a movie a couple weeks ago. I had to go to the bathroom a few times, and I'm like rushing to take a few hits.
Sorry to pause this. Someone asked tips on quitting smoking when your friends are smoking. Dude, nicotine gum, dude. It's a fucking godsend. I promise. I mean, I still chew. I like nicotine. Nicotine on its own is like, I mean, you can still get mouth cancer, I think, from chewing. But nicotine gum is so fucking good, dude. Make a habit out of it. Make a habit out of it. Just like, you know how you love smoking a cigarette after fucking eating food? Or after sex? Or in the morning? When you first wake up with your coffee? Nicotine gum instead. Slowly but surely, you will build a habit out of it. In a similar capacity. Getting a bit carried away? No, it's just that it is the truth. And the best thing about nicotine gum is like you could literally fucking swap in your mind with just like regular gum. I swear to God. Like just you will be a gum chewer for the rest of your life, but you can literally fucking swap it out. It's so weird. I would never suggest vaping. I think it's like, oh. Please tell them you're not supposed to chew like normal gum. Wait, what the fuck do you mean? People know that already. It's all over the. Yeah, I used to do. I used to dip too. It's all over the fucking packaging. But see, man, you're doing exactly what it is. Explain your addiction away in a rational way to cope with your daily existence. Dude, that's heroin, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Do you think this is cute? Do you think this is funny? Like, do you consider this to be like a funny, cute little thing? Are you making a joke? Like, answer, please. 14-month subscriber. No, I hate it. Hate what, dude? Hate your life? Hate heroin? Like, what the fuck? How dare you? Like, how dare you make this comparison? It's so fucking... I'm in recovery? Okay, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're in recovery and you're like, you know... Anyway, congratulations. It's good. It's tough. It's a tough process, but it's good. I'm proud of you. I mean, you're an idiot in the chat sometimes, but still proud of you.
Hits and get back so I don't miss part of the movie, you know, and that's no way to live. You know, I remember when I used to go to the movies and, you know, just enjoy myself with a friend, and I don't even want to hang out with people a lot of the time. I just want to be alone in my room, and it sucks. Just like isolating. And so yeah, it's not all happy, you know,
Hey,
everything's
stop saying
great
sorry. It's okay.
and fun and everything. Over time, I used to get high and go walk around Berkeley or San Francisco and go eat and drink and go shop and stuff, or call friends or go to a comedy show or a concert. And I mean, also with COVID in the past year, that's kind of affected things as well. So I feel like the combination of COVID and me kind of just getting a little bit deeper into addiction, I feel like it's just, I don't do anything really. I work and I sit at home, and sometimes I'll go out to eat with a friend or family member, but it's pretty rare. So I don't mean for this to be some sob story or anything. I'm just trying to be honest. You know, not that I wasn't honest last time. I feel like it seemed like I sugarcoated it, although I wasn't intentionally or consciously doing it. It's just I was in a good mood, and it was the first interview, and I was, yeah.
He's still justifying it, dude. Which makes sense.
But
Just happy.
But since that first interview, you and I have spoken on the phone a couple times.
Yeah.
And you were, I think, you had thoughts of suicide and things
Yeah,
like that.
no,
So the depression gets pretty heavy.
Since I was a teenager, I've had thoughts of that. And, I mean, God, when I was 14 years old, I mean, I was like sitting there in the classroom, like blasting Slipknot in my headphones and like Marilyn Manson and shit, like being depressed. But that, looking back, that was so trivial as a 14-year-old to feel that way and not be enjoying life. But you don't know that at that time, you learn later. And so throughout time, yes, I've had depression issues and thoughts of suicide. I've never acted anything out. The, closest to anything was the time I overdosed on fentanyl, which is when I said I don't care and I was drinking, which it wasn't like, hey, I want to die. It was just being careless and stupid. So yeah, since then, it's never to the point where I'm like going and buying a gun or like cutting myself or taking a bunch of pills. It's just thinking, God, if I just died, like, I mean, obviously I wouldn't have to think about anything anymore, but like sometimes I feel like my family or my friends, like I feel like I just feel like such a shitty friend or family member. Like, I just wish I could be a better friend or family member to them. And I feel bad because I know they care about me and they're worried, I mean, there was a couple months ago, I had a moving sale. I was moving places and my mom came over to help me. And at one point throughout the day, I knew my dealer was going to come by. And my mom, I didn't know she was going to stay there the whole day. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, well, great, how's this going to work out? Because she's not stupid and I'm not going to lie to her because I just don't want to be that kind of person. And so I told her, I said, this is what's happening. And she said, I know that's what you do. So whatever, just go ahead and do it. And she just went over to the car while he came and he's like, I feel bad doing this in front of your mom. And I'm like, this is such a fucking weird situation, I mean, because people's idea of, heroin addiction stuff is that people are out on the streets and, nodding off and, but here I am at a moving sale. My mom's helping me and I'm like doing this transaction like civilly and going, hiding in the bathroom. And I don't know, it's a weird life to live and I don't want to live it anymore. I want to get help. I just have to wait for the medical coverage.
Bro, the fucking dealer felt bad, bro. That's wild. Because that motherfucker's seen some shit. I mean, he's literally dealing drugs to people. Like,
we do have an employee assistance program at my job that has like free counseling. And I just got that number the other day. So I was going to call it just to see if they can do anything, before I have medical coverage. But, I don't know. For now, I'm just in limbo and I still have a roof over my head. I'm still alive. I have 2 jobs, like I said. Ironically enough, I'm a lifeguard. So yeah, I watch over a pool at a very high class community, upscale community.
You don't look like an addict at all.
I know, yeah. And so no, there's nobody, there was one time a couple years ago that the dealer came up there and that moron was nodding off in the hot tub and some guy was like, what's up with that guy? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I think he's on some medication or something, But, yeah, I mean,
if it's an upscale community, they're fucking doing the same shit you're doing. It's just prescribed. Which is also bad, by the way, for the record. That doesn't make it okay. But that's how so many people get to his position. Like, rich white wine moms, fucking Xanax.
I'm still functioning. That was another thing, it's a debate of how functional somebody is, if they're functional, or if that's even the right term to use. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that I'm doing my best and I'm staying true to myself the best I can. I try not to lie to people, even when it comes to, like I said, my mom. Like, I'm going to be honest with her. I don't steal. I know somebody said on the comments, somebody better find out where he works, notify his job, because he's probably stealing to fund his habit. No, that's not the case.
And you didn't lose your job from the video?
No. No.
I
I actually showed some people at the job, and their minds were blown. And
it's interesting to me how, like, if I do a stripper interview or 3, as I did recently from my trip to Tampa, now I got dozens and dozens of strippers around the country that want me to come and do interviews with them, and that happens with swingers or nudists or Appalachians or whatever I end up interviewing. But with your video,
swingers, nudists, Appalachians, dude. That's awesome. I love that Appalachians get their own entire category. He means the inbred family, right? That's what he's talking about.
which certainly was very popular, 2.6 million views in a year, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I've got very few people that want to come out and talk about their addiction, and certainly there's a lot of people that are using these harder drugs and being functional.
Yeah.
But just don't have the courage to come out and talk about it.
Yeah, and I've had
you had no negative repercussions from it. I'm not saying everyone should do it, but
right.
But it's just interesting.
Although the new job I have ever since I started there, it seems like the younger people, there's something, I feel like, I've told also another thing I said in the last video was girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. I just said it because it's easier than explaining the whole thing. She broke up with me in September. We still talk every day. We have every intention of being together eventually. I just have to get clean, and I am not going to do that to her to make her deal with that, in a relationship. So,
hold on one second.
What the fuck?
So
what the fuck was that in the background? You guys heard that, yo?
In a relationship. So,
hold on one second.
Deal with that, in a relationship. So,
hold on one second.
That's very interesting.
So yeah, I just don't want to be unfair to her. So I did have multiple people reach out to me and say that they were dealing with similar things, and or they felt the same exact way. And
I think it's very common with what you're doing.
Yeah, and they were like, I'm too afraid to say anything. Like, a lot of people are afraid that they're going to be found out by their job, which I don't even know how legal that would be to fire somebody over. I mean, maybe they'd have to find some other way around it to act like they were firing them for something else. But I don't know if legally you could go up to somebody and say, hey, I saw your interview, especially when it's a circumstance like this where I'm like, hey, I want to get help and I know it's wrong. And like,
Does this guy think we live in like fucking, I don't know, Portugal or something? Like, bro, you live in America, dog. Your boss literally does not need a reason. Like, there's a couple of reasons why they can't fucking sue. I can't fire you. Very hard to prove. But like, anything short of your boss being like, I'm firing you because you're black, or I'm firing you because you're a woman, or I'm firing you because you're gay. Like, anything short of your boss saying that, they can fire you for whatever the fuck they want, dude. I mean, he's none of those things, but still.
I'm doing everything I can and I'm trying to, still be a good person and everything. It's not like I was just like, yeah, fuck it, dude, I'm partying, like, it's not like that.
No, but it's not a good thing to have the world know that you are.
Right.
In general.
Yes. And, there's times where at jobs, I'll have to sneak off to the bathroom and do it, I try to keep that to a minimum because I don't want that to, turn into a thing,
But I think your ability to be honest about your life and behavior, I think, is probably helping you, no?
Yeah, no, it's nice. And then
I'm sure it helps others.
yeah, there was one guy that said that man, I mean I don't know how much of the story he gave me or whatever, but I guess him and his wife were having some problems, and he had 2 young daughters, and he was gonna hang himself. And then he saw the video, and I don't know what about me or the video made him feel that he didn't want to do that, but that's what happened. And so that's what he said, and he messaged me on Instagram and thanked me, and tells me about his life here and there, and I just feel bad because I just feel like I don't know like the right things to say, or like if I could help him more, or so
No, I think just sharing your story that's doing your part.
yeah. Then I got the random girls that want to mess with me and mess with my head, and
You and Patrick and Eric and Lewis and everybody.
yeah, no, like I'm 35 years old, dude. I'm over it. Like I've heard it all. Like sorry, I don't mean to sound like Mr. Player, like cool guy or whatever, but it was just like there was one girl that's like, I'm gonna move from Seattle to California. I'm gonna come live with you and see, and like all this stuff, and I did get wrapped up in it, and like then I realized it was nonsense and that she was nuts, and so I was like, no, forget it. And then I went to my ex-girlfriend, freaking cried my eyes out. I was like, I'm so sorry, like I almost fell for this, and that was an eye-opener. Like, okay, I've already moved across country for 2 girls off the internet in my life, so I don't need to be dealing with that crap anymore. If they're not near me, then it's not worth it.
Has coming on my YouTube channel and sharing your story, have you learned anything from doing this? That you were very open and honest about something that most people would keep hidden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was because I guess just overall the video and then everything else in my life, and just people saying like, oh, if his job finds out, or like this or that about his life, it made me just think about everything as a whole and just remember that I need to be careful with how I act, what I do, like going to the bathroom or being late, or just you can never get too comfortable with it, being an addict. You always have to be on your toes and remember that it's not socially acceptable. People aren't going to get it. They're not going to want to get it. And you can talk till you're blue in the face to some people and they're not going to care. So it's just, I just got to keep it under wraps the best I can as I'm doing another video. But I feel like it doesn't, if it has gotten to the people that it would bother, they haven't reacted or treated me any differently, which I'm very grateful for.
But you're doing a good job at work, and you're...
Yeah, no, I the only thing is, and it's totally trivial, is having the 2 jobs, the schedule started to conflict. And so I was trying to like leave one early one day and then be late to one the next day, or vice versa, kind of split it up. And neither would work with me. And so it's like, I'm trying not to have anybody know I'm a heroin addict, but at the same time, I'm trying to just have a normal schedule as a human without the drug thing. So I was like, okay, I had to change my schedule, and because I just don't want to have any issues that could cause.
The time difference between the first video and the second video is only 4 months, dude. He's 35 years old here. I don't know how much time I don't know how many years it's been or how many months it's been since he started taking heroin. But here he is. "35 years old. 8 years of opiates, 2 to 3 years of heroin at this point. This is 3 months in. But if he's been on opiates for 8 years, then like he's not gonna fucking age in 3 months.
Cause any for somebody to say, hey, we know what's going on with you, and that's probably why you're late, or and then I don't want to deal with that.
So from here, you're hoping that maybe you'll find a way to get clean?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I just think
Would you recommend this lifestyle for anyone?
no, I wouldn't, because like I said, the withdrawals are terrible, and it's just that it's like your body is a ticking time bomb. You're just it's inevitable. There's not going to be a way that one day you're going to wake up and escape it or find some way to easily wean off of it. Because there's been times where even I have done that. I have gradually lowered my usage, and then like once the withdrawals hit, just take the tiniest hit and then ease into it a little bit better. But then once you get past it and the stuff's gone, your body and your mind, it's instantly, oh God, that would sound so great. And I'd feel so much better. Like, yeah, even I got over the shitty part of the...
Hasanabi says he doesn't acknowledge his own addiction. Bro, he's literally doing this follow-up interview originally in fucking tears because he said he made it seem like it was a trivial thing in the first video. Shut the fuck up. This is the good video that we're watching because he felt like the previous video that he made, the previous interview that he made was literally like, don't lie. I don't know what to do. He basically admitted to as all of this in the beginning.
Withdrawals, but I still could feel good again, better. So I don't know if it's going to take medication or just some long program. I just don't want to do methadone again. I did that before, and based on stuff other people have said, they said it's changed people for the worse. It's changed other people for the better. It seems like it's a really hit or miss, but the couple months I was on it, I wasn't feeling great. It didn't seem like a solution to me. So maybe Suboxone. I don't know. I got to figure it out once the medical kicks in. And like I said, I have the other employee assistance program to call and see if they can help. But for now, I'm just trying to get by and make sure to pay.
Addiction is easy to beat if you have enough determination, Law. Dude, I love chatters with zero life experience coming in here. Like, dude, you're literally 12. This is how I thought when I was 12 years old. Like, no shit. First of all, like, yeah, dude, if you have the best determination, dude, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand. Like, just have the best determination on the planet, dude. Just use fucking willpower to stop being addicted. Like, that's so dumb. It's literally the worst thing, dude. It is. Addiction is one of the worst things that you can have. It's so bad. You're fighting your own fucking brain all the time. It's like you're literally fighting your insides, okay? You're fighting demons that you have within you that are telling you that this is good, this is right, this is fine, you're fine, you're doing all right. Literally every fucking day. You're unable. There's a part of your brain, there's a part of your own personality that's telling you, like, stop fucking doing this. This is fucking you up, dude. You know this is fucking you up. Please stop. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then, like, 75 to 80% of your body's like, nah, this is tight. I'll stop. Eventually, you'll stop. It's fine. You'll totally stop. Fine. It's fine. You just keep going. Okay? It's devastating. It's horrible. It's the fucking worst, dude. And luckily, a lot of you have no experience with it, so it's not bad. You have no understanding. It's like impossible to describe it to you. And then on top of that, it's top of the hour. So you have to watch a 6-second ad break. You know what I mean? You are not fighting demons. You are facing incredible chemical reactions that literally take over your body. I'm describing that process with an analogy that features fucking demons, dude. Okay? So that people who have never experienced it can perhaps get a better understanding, okay, of what it's like. Chatters think because they stopped masturbating 1 November, that means they can beat heroin. Yeah. Bro, addicted to heroin, dude? Just quit. It's like, oh, hey, wait, I'm sorry. Are you addicted to heroin? Just quit. I don't get it. Why don't you just, have you tried quitting heroin? Just fucking have determination, dude. What the fuck? Sigma grindset, baby. Heroin millionaire mindset. Psh, cold turkey. Withdrawal symptoms? I don't want to look it up. I don't know what that is. Could I literally die if I quit cold turkey on some things like benzos? Fuck it. Who cares? I quit masturbating for an entire month. So, you can do that too. You know, with the other stuff. Nowhere near as devastating as a masturbation addiction. You joke, but I've heard that sort of thing more than once. Of course, dude, because people are fucking stupid. Addiction isn't something you beat. It's something you live with. I will always be an addict. As soon as you think you won is when you realize because you think you can handle it. I mean, dude, for me, I'm a substituter, okay? I try to focus on what I like to call, and this is oxymoronic, and this is not good advice for you. Don't do this. I'm a fucking idiot. Healthy addictions. I substitute unhealthy addictions that revolve around vices to healthy addictions. Working out, dieting, like compulsive behavior towards that sort of stuff, but at least sex, for sure. You know, addictive behavior around things that at least improve my life. It's called harm reduction. Yeah. Motherfucker said dieting is not healthy. Dude, every day, bro. Literally every day we gotta have homies in the chat saying like, dude, actually dieting is unhealthy. You'll always be an addict. It's a very harmful view, and there's no way to prove that it's going to demotivate a lot of people from recovering. I mean, dude. You can quit. That's the whole point. Like, you can. I already mentioned this. It's different for everyone, so I don't want to fucking say anything, but it's different for everybody, but like, I can drink. That's not something that many people can do, though. That's the difference. That's why you're not an addict. No, because I fucking self-monitor like a motherfucker, dude. That's what it is. Because like even when I start drinking again, I notice myself like fucking, you know. I notice myself drinking a lot. Oh, dude, I forgot to run the ad. Holy shit. Here's the ad break, by the way. But I'm not like, there's varying degrees to addiction. Like, I can have bottles of alcohol in my house, and I do, without ever wanting to drink it. Let me finish this video. I'm not at that level. When it comes to fucking pastries and shit, though, I can't. If I have it at my house, I'm gonna eat it.
Pay rent and pay bills and eat. Which that's the other thing is sometimes like the other day I didn't eat until like 5 p.m. because I was withdrawing and I didn't want to get out of bed and my stomach hurt, and so it's just all around unhealthy.
I'm very
so I'm very
fortunate.
and I'm not promoting it.
All right, Matthew. Well, thank you so much
All
for coming in and sharing your story, and I hope you.
I'm very. How was the cake? Shut the fuck up. I ate the shit out of it, dude. I ate that cake. Super hard. It was really good. Oh my god, it was delicious. So yeah, can you have cigarettes now? Probably, yeah. Yeah, I can have cigarettes. Like I can have not like smoke a cigarette. I'll never smoke a cigarette, but I can have like a pack of cigarettes in the house. I'll never try cigarettes ever again. I hope. I hope I never, ever, ever smoke. I hope I'm never. Oh my God. I used to have nightmares about smoking, dude. I used to literally have nightmares like where I smoke a cigarette and then like I get addicted again. It was so terrible. It was terrifying and terrible.